Thanks for volunteering with Milton Access Television. Today, we're going to learn how to put together your field video kit, also known as a to-go kit, so that you can record things like lectures, sports, and other events around town. Okay, first things first. When you pick up your to-go kit from the studio, check to make sure everything you need is there. Unzip the camera and tripod bags, and check off that you have everything on the following list. A tripod with a remote zoom control button. A camera. A battery in the camera. A memory card, also called an SD card, inside the camera. A plate on the bottom of the camera so it can attach to the tripod. Headphones. And an audio setup. That includes an XLR audio cable. That's what this cord with the three-pronged connectors is called. A microphone, and don't forget to check the battery. And a shock mount clamp for the microphone. For some shoots, you might use a different microphone, like a clip-on lavalier, but we'll cover that in another video. If you're using one of our smaller camcorders, your kit is pretty much the same, with just a small difference. You'll have to make sure you also have a hot shoe for audio, along with the cable that connects it to the camera. Before you leave the studio, you should hook up the audio setup to check that it's working. Plug in the XLR cord to the microphone and camera. Plug in your headphones and turn on the camera and the microphone, if it's one with an on-off switch. Speak into the microphone and talk at a normal volume. Listen through the headphones, and also look at your levels on the camera screen. We'll go over this in a few minutes, so don't worry if that was a little bit confusing. Okay, you've got your gear. Now let's go over how to set it up. Step 1. Set up your tripod. First, release the control arm and retighten to where it won't interfere with the legs. Next, unlatch the tripod legs from each other and then release the clips on the legs. There are 2 clips on each leg. Now you can extend the legs to their full length. Make sure to pull on them to make sure they are fully extended. Before you put the tripod on the ground, close the clips to lock the legs in place. Now, spread the legs out fully and put your tripod on the ground. Time to set up the camera. Remove your camera from the bag, holding it by the top handle. Now this next part can be a little tricky. Place one corner of the camera plate into the shoe on top of the tripod, like this. Once the camera plate is inside the shoe, screw in the flat-headed screw until it's firm. Now, you need to level your camera, so you're not shooting at a funny angle. Now, you'll need to unscrew the cap on the bottom of the center drop stick. Take a close look, and a label will tell you which way to loosen the cap. Loosen it until you feel it release. All of a sudden, the camera will become completely unstable. With your off hand, manually adjust the camera until you get the bubble in the center of the circle. Once it's there, keep it steady and retighten the cap on the bottom of the center drop stick with your strong hand. Okay, now let's get your audio set up. Take your shotgun microphone out of its zip case and put on the windscreen. Pick up your shock mount. Push the rear end of the microphone back through the center of the rubber stabilizers on the head of the shock mount, using your fingers to push the rubber down on the microphone. Now, clip the shock mount to your tripod. Unravel your XLR cord. You'll notice that both connectors on the end of the cord are different. One has 3 prongs and the other one has 3 holes. Plug the end with holes into the microphone and the pronged end into either outlet in the camera. They should click right into place. Next, plug in your headphones to the headphone jack. It has a tiny picture of a set of headphones next to it, and it looks kind of like a horseshoe. and then plug in your remote zoom control to the remote jack. Make sure your audio input switches are in the right position. Generally, you want the middle switch turned on, the line mic plus 48 switch set to mic, and the AM switch set to A. Next, open the camera's viewfinder and switch on the camera by pushing the main power button forward to the camera position. On the other side of the handle, ensure that the operator mode switch is set to auto. Don't forget to open the lens cap. There is a lever button on the side of the lens cover. Depress it to flip the lens cover up. Now, it's time to check your audio. Some microphones have an on-off switch. If you have one that does, it'll be right at the bottom of the windscreen. Go ahead and turn it on. By grabbing the arm of the shock mount, not the head, with both hands, point the microphone exactly at what sound you want to record. Check your viewfinder screen for your audio levels. You should see a white line bouncing back and forth along the bottom of the screen, indicating that the camera is picking up sound. Also listen through the headphones to make sure that the sound it's picking up is not distorted or blown out. Now it's time to adjust your tripod head so you can smoothly move your camera around or lock it into place. Unlock the tilt control knob on the side of the tripod head. Adjust your camera angle and then tighten the knob to lock it down. If you want to be able to move the camera during your shoot, tighten this knob just a little bit. This comes down to feel, so you have to experiment with it a little bit to get it just the right tightness. The same goes for the pan control knob. Release it, adjust your camera angle, and then tighten it, either all the way or to just a bit of tightness. Now, test your remote zoom control and ensure that it's working properly. If it's not, you may need to turn the camera off, wait 10 seconds, turn it back on again, and do not touch anything on the camera for 30 seconds while the zoom control calibrates. Then, try the zoom control again. To focus the camera on your subject, on the viewfinder, simply tap the subject you want to focus on with your finger. The camera takes care of the rest. Now you're ready to go. Get your shot set up, make sure your microphone is pointed at your subject, and don't forget to hit the record button. You'll see a red dot appear at the top of the viewfinder once recording has begun. You'll also notice how much battery you have left, as well as how much storage is left on your memory card. Okay, so your shoot is over and it's time to pack up and go home. This is sensitive and pretty expensive equipment, so you can't just shove it all in the bag. Be gentle, you're going to need to use it again. After you've hit the record button to stop recording, move the main power button from camera to off, and close the viewfinder. Go ahead and unplug everything that you can. Next, you need to coil your XLR cord. It's important not to treat this cord like a piece of rope or an electrical extension cord. It will destroy it. We'll go over exactly how to do this when you come to the studio, but for now, just try to keep in mind that you have to wrap this cord in a way that does not leave it stretched or twisted. Take a look at how Shane holds one end of the cord in one hand and gently loops the cord into a coil, following the grain of the cord. Again, we'll show you how to do this in person. It can be tricky, but it's important. Once that's coiled, secure it with the attached Velcro strap. Place it in the bag. Now you can start disassembly. Unclip the shock mount. Again, use your fingers to push the microphone through the rubber stabilizers. If the microphone has a switch, turn it off and put it back into its bag. Unlock the camera from the tripod shoe. Depress the button on the side of the shoe and remove the camera by tilting it up on one side and then sliding it out completely. flip the switch to close your lens cover, and put the camera back in the camera bag. Now, pick up your tripod and latch the 3 legs together. Unclip the 2 clips on each leg and flip the tripod upside down. The legs should collapse on their own. If not, give them a little help. Then, snap the clips shut. Finally, unlock the tripod arm so it will easily collapse down, and then retighten it. Place the tripod in the tripod bag, along with the shock mount. Wrap up your headphones and place them in the camera bag with the XLR cord and the microphone bag. That's it! While you have the camera, always make sure to keep it in a dry, safe place that is not too cold and not too hot. Don't ever leave it in your car, especially overnight. Heat, cold, and especially moisture can damage this equipment beyond repair. Hey, thanks for watching. We hope you learned something. Check out some of our other videos to learn more, and please let us know if you have any questions. We're glad you're here, making a difference in your community. Happy filming!